this Honda Civic season here from a 2008 to a 94. This car is actually the predecessor to the one in the previous video, and got similar problems. Oh, we got a intermittent and occasionally overly optimistic speedometer, which only works when it wants to. Sometimes it doesn't want to work at all. Other times it works fine. Other times when you're going along about 35 miles per hour, it wants you to think you're going about 110. You know, so, well, a little overly optimistic. In fact, on this car, actually, this thing actually going all the way around to 130. I think Honda was a bit optimistic on that. Anyway, we got a few other things going on with this one, which I want to get straightened out. Get the key in the ignition, and of course, our beeper has to be the last thing to ever die on any car that's got anything electronic. But over here on the climate control, you'll notice we've got speed 3, 4, and off. No 1, 2, got 3 off positions, and then but that's better than nothing. Also, our radio hasn't worked in years, and it'd be a good time to actually just upgrade the audio in this car, but no more than what I listen to the radio. Which has really just no sound at all at this point, but wide open. I don't listen to the radio much nowadays, but while I'm into it, I might as well go ahead and see if we can fire the radio back up too. It would appear to be almost dead, except play. All right. Rewind. Nope. Eject. Try that again. And just no audio at all. None. Cool sound though. Wonder if it's unwinding the tape. No. Hey, it's actually running the tape. I'll probably make the radio video unto itself. But anyhow. Let's see if our Speedo works. Oh, buckle up for safety. Come on, focus. There we go. Suddenly going 100. Oh, give it a good redneck tune up here. Well, let me get out of these curves. Tape player is going crazy down there. Can't decide which side of the tape it wants to try to unsuccessfully play. A lot of people would think that this is a problem caused by the speed sensor on the transmission, and around these parts a lot of people go and buy those and replace those, and it's a waste of money every time. This is cracked solder joint trouble, folks. And the tale is that if it's the sensor on the transmission, giving it a good redneck tune-up, doesn't fix it like that. So that's the tale on that. So since I'm trying this summer to get out of all these automobile repairs that are needing to be done around here, we're going to start today just by going into the Speedo assembly on this. Well, let's see if our sacrificial tape ended up being sacrificed. Nope. It's actually running the tape, at least a little, or trying to, not spilling it out anyway, so there's hope. After going a few miles. Oh, 188,889. I don't really enjoy doing automotive work. Especially don't like tearing into my own cars, don't like having to do that. These are the projects that keep getting in the way of all the other projects I'd like to do here. But one thing I gotta say about these Hondas, the mechanicals on them are just indestructible. And also, it is summertime here, y'all. So let me go ahead and get this thing out and get it into the shop where it's air conditioned. Okay, y'all, I would like to point out just how instantly easier this 1994 is to get apart than the 2008. Just two number head Phillips screws above the assembly right here and right here, and then pop out the hazard control switch from right here, unplug it, and find the third screw right in there. Right there, shining right on it. That's all it's been so far. Popping out the hazard switch, since it just snaps in, I started out with a razor blade, raised it up just enough to get a putty knife up under it, and then finished it off with a regular screwdriver, and it just popped right out of there and unplugged, and absolutely nothing scarred. This is going too smooth so far. Let's see, will it pull out now? Will it just, come on, will you just pull out? Behave for me. Nope, I don't want to crack it. Ooh, okay. There we go. There we go. Just popped out some right there. And we got some, can't get the camera on them, some lower snaps down in here. And then, I guess we just continue on across. Might not finish this off camera. Although I don't know. Just coming right along. Yeah, let me finish this off camera because I sure don't want to scar anything on this one. Not as easy as this is going. But boom, there it is. About the time I cut the camera, out it came. There was one thing holding it, which I had to investigate right here. This one just has a space filler in it, where some models had a clock. But even though this one didn't originally have the clock, and you see there is not a single thing in the world right here except a space filler, it still had the plug going there, so had to unplug that. So hey, if you want to take this opportunity while you're working on one of these to go to a junkyard maybe and find an original clock for one of these and install it, go ahead. Looks like the car was pre-wired for it, so ought to just be plug and play. Speaking of which, look at here, compared to the 2008. Look, we're already right here at it. Two number 2 Phillips head screws on each side, and we'll see how easy this can be. It's going too easy, y'all. It's just going entirely too easy. Something has got to go wrong. According to the service book for the 94 Civics, it looks like it might actually be built where all the gauges actually unplug from the circuit board. So you would just buy the circuit board and then plug your gauges into the new circuit board. That's a lot closer to what I'm used to working on automobile instrumentation, and I would love it if this one would actually prove to be that way. Although there's a note in there talking about for these, of course, like replace the whole assembly, the whole unit. So they might be soldered in, but unlike with the 2008 tachometer, which I didn't go ahead with because it was working with no problem. Got an actual problem on this to chase down and correct, so let's see, is that all that there is to this? Looks like we got a little bit of a lip down here that it might be snagging on, but is that all that's holding? Look at there, look at there. Oh, plug and play, y'all, plug and play. Will you come on out and just let me unplug you and get out of this heat? Will you do that for me, honey? Kind of a, well, the steering wheel's blocking it. It's kind of a tight squeeze, but come on, can I rock you out of there one-handed? Looks like we got multiple plugs here, so let's see. There's one. Too big to be done one-handed, huh? Think you're big? There we go. There's two. What else is holding you? Got one more. Got a wire retainer. And it looks like just one more plug. Is that all there is? Nope. Two more. But we are about to be out of here. Okay. Now one more from right down here. And there we are. It's out. And it looks like it actually might use incandescent lamps. I would have thought it would have been LED on a 94. And we've had some of them to be intermittent, so got flex circuit. Alright, we'll explore it more once I get air conditioned. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay. What can I tear up here? This is my personal mix. I call it Mountain Dew and then some. 14-ounce mix, and it's 12 ounces Mountain Dew and 2 ounces of Tito's Handmade. And very good in weather like this. If you partake. You don't have to partake to do this kind of work, but kind of steadies the nerves. Alright, what do we have here? Before anybody really starts screaming, yeah, there's an indicator light missing right here. And it would be right there. And before people start thinking I lost something, you know, with my drinking and all. Anyway, here's the proof. There's absolutely nothing there, y'all. They left the hole there anyway, but there is absolutely nothing there. Also, obviously, I haven't popped this apart yet, and yeah, I'll clean it up before it all goes back together. Always a good chance to go ahead and clean something up while you've got it out. I would have guessed it would have had LEDs, being a 94. And maybe partially it actually does. But let's see what we got here. Are they all? Nope. Some are actually incandescent. Huh. None of them have ever gone out permanently, so they're all just intermittent. And one line of wisdom would be, here's why you got it all out, go ahead and replace them. But my personal line of wisdom is I've replaced these bulbs and other assemblies I've worked on for other people's trucks and all, and I've seen the new bulbs fail, you know, within 1,000 miles. So these are just intermittent, so unless one's definitely bad, I'm going to leave them original and just clean up connections on those. This is another first for me. This assembly out of a 94 Honda Civic. Haven't worked on one of these before. Been putting it off on my own car. A lot of people don't want to pay for this work, like I talked about in the last video, but on a 2008. But looks like we got kind of a hybrid configuration here. Got flex circuit, looks like mainly for the illumination and indicators, and also apparently for the speedometer. And then right here for the fuel gauge, I would expect there to be a printed circuit in here. The speedometer is the only thing giving any trouble, so I'll focus on it, but of course go ahead and look over it all anyway while I've got it out. I guess I need to just start by going ahead and removing all these screws, because definitely plan to go into the whole thing and either these gauges unplug like they do in a lot of truck assemblies and all, or they don't. If they don't, I'll unsolder them. I've already looked and haven't been able to spot any obvious solder cracks back here. So on the speedometer, what am I going to find? Take these screws out and maybe it unplugs, or maybe I have to unsolder it. And then that's where the circuit board will be. Time will tell. But let's go ahead and get into it and find out. I want this job to go easy, if it will. And it probably won't. They seldom do. Automotive electronic assemblies seldom go easy. One thing I am noticing, these screws are mighty loose. Wonder if that could be the whole problem. I'm really kind of surprised this car has flex circuit. 2 times I've been kind of surprised in my life. Old 69 Ford, I would have thought it'd have been hand wired, but it's got flex circuit in it. This one, I would have thought would have been too new for flex circuit, and would have just had like a circuit board inside here like the 2008 did, and it's got flex circuit. Really amazing what you start learning about your own vehicles when you begin to work on them. And I'm getting a little bit anxious already about working on the radio in this car. That's something else that I opted out of getting into on the 2008 because the radio and CD player was working just fine in it, and was going to obviously cause issues, or try to at least, in getting all that apart. So I just opted out of doing it on the 2008. Okay. All right. Wasn't expecting that. That's our gear indicator. All right. Have to peep into that before this is all over too. And then you must be our fuel gauge. Fuel and temperature gauges on this car have not acted up at all. But in the interest of completeness, while it's out, they all get rebaptized whether they need it or not, as the old song goes. Okay, lens snaps on all around here. I guess our next step is to try to unsnap the front of this the whole way around. Oh, and that don't want to go. Okay. I've got an out for that. Really? You're gonna make me do this off camera? Seriously? There's no screw down there running into that, is there? I don't know. Looks like there just may be. All right. Back in a few as I investigate this. Okay, no screws, y'all. It just snaps together incredibly, profoundly tight. And when I pulled the back cover off, the gauges stayed behind. So, note to self and to everyone else out there taking the screws out, I took those out prematurely. The thing to do would be snap all of this apart and then take the screws out. We've only got one circuit board here for the speedometer, just two electrolytics on that board that I'm seeing that are each 1000 microfarad at 16 volts. The electrical connections are quite obviously made through the flex circuit. No plugs, and same with the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge. Those connections are made through the screws, so the loose screws might have just been the entire problem. But yeah, the way I took this apart, I should have just left the screws in until after I unsnapped this. But hey, like I said, first time working on one of these. Nothing much to see here for the temperature gauge. And not seeing any problem with that. Same here for the fuel gauge. Come on off there. But yeah, you see the way this is kind of flopping around. There's nothing to hold this in place since these didn't come out with this back here. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall these back into the back there once I'm going to clean it up some first on the inside, get the dust and all out of it, and get it all thoroughly cleaned in there before I do that. But I'll go ahead and remount the fuel gauge and the temperature gauge. Make sure that the screws going into them from the flex circuit are tight and secure. And I'll clean all this up, like I said, before I remount them. And it might have been the problem with the speedometer as well, because when it worked, it was working absolutely fine. The main place I am suspicious, I'm going to try to zoom it for y'all, is if I can turn this around here. Got a couple of film capacitors back here. Well, a capacitor and a resistor. And I'm going to try to zoom this. The most suspicious solder joint I see is actually right here. Right here. And then also I'm going to resolder these on these electrolytics. It's working so good when it works, you know, just from a little redneck tune-up. I'm not going to go, especially with this whole thing being as easy to access in this car as it is, I'm not going to go very deep into this. But yeah, if I can zoom that connection right there, get the light on it right. These cracked solder joints are incredibly hard to see, but I do think I'm seeing one right there. And then over here for the electrolytics, you look right there, that top terminal for that 1000 microfarad 16 volt electrolytic. Just looks like maybe a little stress crack right there from expansion and contraction. Just normal heat in the car. I'm debating whether or not to go ahead and resolder all of these terminals right here and these right here. But you see, I think I probably will, just in the interest of completeness. But you see, we've got that aggravating coating here, that moisture-proof coating there for an IC on the back side of this. And I'm not going to try removing it to reheat any of those terminals. I think I'm mainly just going to hit these and these, and then these two rows right here. And hopefully that will have all of this fixed up and ready to go. And here we are, all ready to go. I opted out of trying to even remove any of this moisture-proof coating right here over that IC, and where it kind of intrudes right over here into this row of terminals. just because it is a mechanical mechanism and kind of delicate, and I didn't want to exert the pressure that it would take to go ahead and try to remove all that. And closest inspection I could do, all of these terminals right here really look good anyway, so I just hit what of them I could hit and went over the rest of the board, everything that was convenient, and everything went well. I didn't replace the electrolytics, I just resoldered them because, again, this thing was working absolutely fine when it was working, so acting like a connection problem. So I treated it exclusively as a connection problem, as I normally do on these instrument clusters. It looked like right here that I shorted these two together. They're not shorted. The solder did flow between them and connect them, but these are actually the same circuit right here. And then they're separated over on this side. So that's not a short. That's just, as Bob Ross would say, a happy accident. But I've already installed the other gauges back into the rear cover. And I want to make a note about that in this video, that when you are installing these gauges and tightening down these screws, don't tighten them down too far. Don't just winch them down tight as you can get them. These have torque washers on them that will flatten out, and really all you're going for is to have these torque washers flattened out and then just a little bit more. You don't ever want to force screws on things like this, because the motors or actuators, whatever you call them, back here that actually move the gauges, you want to be exceptionally careful with. They've got hair fine wiring connecting to terminals that these screws, which double as mounting and connecting screws, go into. So you don't ever want to force these. They were loose, kind of super loose actually, when I was taking this apart. But anyway, I would just say use a jeweler's type screwdriver. And where did I put it? It's over here somewhere. Oh, where are you? It's the way when I work, I set stuff down and then I can't ever put my hand right directly back on it. even when I reach my hand right back. Oh, here it is, right here. Anyway, talking about the torque washers on these, I just use a jeweler's screwdriver, and if I could use this one as an example and just kind of back it off some. See right there, that torque washer. Once it's flattened out, that is tight enough, and you don't want to go any tighter. So you want to flatten out that gap right there. And then that's it. See? That way you won't damage the actuators or motors, if you won't call them motors, that actually move the gauges on the other side, because they are super, super duper delicate. Anyway, I've already checked all of the bulbs for continuity, and they're all good. Have not found a single open bulb in this, so again, I'm just going to leave the originals in. And I did do a little cleaning everywhere here where they go in and connect. I did do some pad cleaning there, and I expect that's all that was needed on that. Also inspected all the flex circuit, and all of it looks good. So right now what I'm working on is still working on the indicator for the gear shift, which I have over here, and still working on trying to get all of it just exactly right. Kind of surprising, all the diodes that are in this. I mean, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ladybugs came to the ladybug picnic. 13, 14, and then what appears to be a signal diode right here. So I'm being very careful to not overheat these and checking these again and again. But I'm about to have this ready, and I'm going to go ahead and snap it back together and put all this back together, and we'll put it in the car and try it. Okay, we're back installed, y'all. All in one day. I cannot believe that after the comparative nightmare that the 2008 Civic was, all of this in the same day. One note, because I'm not so supremely confident that I went ahead and reinstalled all this, you know, just fully on faith that it would all work. I did check it out as I was installing it, and I did make an interesting discovery that it worried me for a little bit, that the turn signals weren't working before I put all the S cushion and everything back in, after I just mounted the instrument cluster and I switched the car on, tried it out, and the turn signals didn't work. Well, it turns out that the hazard switch actually factors into that. There's a bypass inside the hazard switch, and if you've got the hazard switch out, if you don't have the hazard switch installed, the turn signals will not work. As soon as I installed the hazard switch, there we are. We got hazard, and when I turn it on, there we go. Got turn signal. But I had no turn signal before plugging the hazard switch back in. So anybody working on one of these old cars, you might want to keep that in mind, that if you have turn signal trouble, check and see, first of all, like if you got it from a junkyard, if the hazard switch is installed. And also just check the hazard switch if it is installed, because with the hazard switch not plugged in, you will not have any turn signal. But anyway, let's go for a ride. I got into all that and I forgot to notice the gauge check. So let's do another gauge check. All right, that's everything. And I didn't, as I said earlier, I didn't replace any of the panel lights. I'm just going to try to take it on faith that they've lasted this long and they'll continue to work. Look at there. All right. Let's go for a ride. I think I see some speedo movement. I can't believe how easy this was. I mean, really, that 2008 really put me through it with all of its digital instrumentation. Look to part 2 of the 2008 Honda Civic if you want to see what I'm talking about. Hey, look, our temp gauge is starting to climb. All right, glad of that. And for the purpose of a video, I'm not going to try to run out enough gas to prove the fuel gauge, but that's part of the point of owning a Honda. You know, that's part of the point of having these cars that'll get, you know, 30-something, 40-something miles per gallon. But everything here seems to be working. All in the same day, and my mother's 2008 took me through multiple days just on the instrument cluster repair. That was like 2 days work on that. But look at here. Wonder if there might be a bulb out down here in the bottom of the fuel gauge, but hey, for a 1994, and no more trouble than it is to pull all this out of this one. If I need to relamp it later, I will. I was mainly trying to get rid of the intermittent speedometer. That was really the only issue with any of this. All right, well, like I said in the earlier part of this video, the radio really kind of deserves to be a project in and of itself. So what I've still got to do on this one is see about the switch for the fan control and the radio in this, and after all of that, we ought to be good. And I'm really hoping I can actually fix the original radio for this car. Against what I would have thought would be incredible odds. Has anybody else noticed that you can actually buy cassette tapes again, and that cassettes seem to be coming back? I'm not so surprised that vinyl never went away. For all those people who love the old physical formats, people like me, I'm not surprised that vinyl just never went away. That, you know, really it was never gone, and then it made this terrific comeback. But I was not thinking that cassettes would make a comeback. But apparently they're building cassette players again, and I have been in stores where they have been selling cassettes. Magnetic tape cassettes. Now, you know, are they as high quality as the old Sony Lynx 90s and the old Sony UX 100s and you know, the old Maxells and oh, all of those. Probably not, but still, just the fact that there's people out there interested in old cassettes now, and that they're actually, a few people are actually building cassette players again. I'm going to take that as an excuse to really try to save the old radio in this car. Maybe one day, should I ever decide to sell it, that'll be kind of a cool item to have, you know, the original radio and cassette player for a car this old. There's some irrigation right there. Okay. Just wanted everybody to see what I was avoiding. I hate these rumble strips they're putting in the roads now. Right down the middle of the road and over there on the shoulder. We didn't really need any of that. Never needed any of it before. But anyway, since I'm putting the radio off until later, and this right here might actually be kind of boring, I think I'll just do the next video on the radio for this car. And maybe by then, along the way, I'll already have this fixed. And this old 94 Honda Civic will be, well, as good as it ever was, because actually this is still a very excellently running car. And I love the gas mileage these cars have. This is my first Honda. This is my mother's old one before she bought her 2008. And after she got that one, I claimed this one. So, anyway, y'all take care out there. And we'll see you next time when we get into the radio and cassette player in this 1994 Honda Civic. See you then. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate all of you. Everybody that gives my videos a view. I appreciate you all. Brooks Hobby Shop. We're out.